The story begins in the hauntingly beautiful yet dangerous terrain of the Rocky Mountains, perched 7,740 feet above sea level. Here, we meet a young boy named Hunter, who has ventured alone up a steep mountain, scanning the distant landscape for signs of life. But suddenly, a strange and unsettling sound pierces the silence. Fear grips Hunter, and he bolts back toward his home. As he runs, he realizes that something is rapidly approaching from behind. In a fleeting moment, we catch a glimpse of the deadly creatures that inhabit this world. Desperate to survive, Hunter dashes into a marked white line, an invisible shield of sorts, a Lakshman Rekha, that repels the creatures. This line signifies the 8,000 feet mark, beyond which the creatures cannot follow, as they are unable to survive at such high altitudes. This invisible boundary becomes Hunter's savior. Soon, we are introduced to the Lost Girls Refuge area, located at a daunting altitude of 8,460 feet, where only 193 people remain alive. Among them is Hunter's small family, consisting solely of his father, Will. After the terrifying incident, Will scolds Hunter for crossing the 8,000 feet lifeline. With Hunter already suffering from a lung condition, Will worries constantly for his safety. Hunter defends himself, saying he only wanted to see if there were any other people out there. But Will reminds him that even a small mistake could cost his life, especially after already losing Hunter's mother. Will makes it clear he cannot bear to lose his son too. We then meet Katie, a close friend of Will's late wife, Tara. Will shares with her that Hunter had crossed the lifeline today, heading toward Alba Fire Road, the same place where he last saw his mother. Will wants to keep Hunter confined to the restricted area for his safety, but Katie argues that the area feels like a prison to the boy. After all, Hunter is the only child left in the entire region. Will, however, is firm. They've survived 3 years since the attacks, and to stay alive, the rules must be followed, no matter how harsh. Meanwhile, another survivor named Nina is seen testing bullets on a massive shield, but none of them make a dent. That's because the shield is made from the skin of the creatures, an almost indestructible material. That night, Hunter's health suddenly declines. He struggles to breathe, his condition worsening due to a failing air filter. Thankfully, Will manages to reach him in time and quickly changes the filter, saving his life. Shaken by the close call, Will studies a map and sets his sights on Boulder, a place with a hospital where he hopes to find new filters. With Hunter's current one being the last usable filter, the mission becomes urgent. But Hunter doesn't want his father to go. He's haunted by memories of his mother, who never returned from her journey. Will reassures his son with a promise that he will come back. To prepare, he consults Nina about possible routes, but she warns him gravely. There's no path that keeps you above 8,000 feet at all times. The moment he descends and exhales carbon dioxide, the creatures will sense him and hunt him down. These creatures are nearly impossible to kill, making the journey to Boulder extremely risky, especially since it's a 2-day trek through treacherous terrain. But Will tries to convince Nina, reminding her that she managed to survive encounters with the Reapers and has been researching them for a long time. He also points out that her personal lab is located in Boulder. Perhaps there lies a clue to defeating these creatures once and for all. Will's reasoning strikes a chord with Nina, and she reluctantly agrees to join the mission. She had been with Tara, the woman she considered a close friend when she died, and perhaps this was her chance at redemption. Will suggests they take the Columbia Mines route, a lesser-known path cutting through the mountains. But Nina is immediately hesitant. To her, the mines are like a deadly trap. Anyone who enters might never make it out alive. But Will insists. He once worked in those very mines and knows them well. Still, Nina remains unconvinced, worried that even if they reach the Boulder Hospital, survival would be nearly impossible. The hospital lies below the 8,000 feet mark, where the Reapers dominate. Despite the overwhelming danger, Will is ready to risk everything to save his son. When Katie, Will's longtime friend, finds out about his plan, she insists on coming along. Will protests, but Katie stands firm. She knows they can't avoid facing the Reapers forever. Better to do it on their terms than wait for death to come knocking. As the group prepares to move forward, Nina and Katie meet along the way. Nina asks Katie how she plans to fight the Reapers. They decide to use the ski zone as a strategic pass to cross the most dangerous creature zones quickly. Now, the three of them, Will, Nina, and Katie, set off together. Nina explains her tracker, which detects electromagnetic fields. The Reapers, as it turns out, generate a field far stronger than any known animal. This allows them to track the Reapers' movement and avoid direct confrontations. The team reaches Alba Fire Road, the last point before the descent below 8,000 feet. As they move down, they come across mutilated horses, evidence that the Reapers are not just a threat to humans. Reaching the ski area at 7,620 feet, Will points to a peak that stands at exactly 8,000 feet. If they can ski across that slope, They'll save valuable time and stay safer. But just then, Nina's tracker picks up something alarming. A Reaper is nearby. Seconds later, they spot it in the forest. The group bolts toward the lifeline zone, hoping to outrun the creature. Katie fires multiple shots, but none affect the Reaper. In a frantic chase, the three ski toward the 8,000 feet altitude. The Reaper damages part of their equipment, but fortune is on their side. They make it across just in time. Though safe for now, the Reaper lingers at the edge of the boundary, watching. That night, they take shelter in an abandoned mountain resort. Around a dim fire, Nina shares a disturbing revelation from her years of research. The Reapers aren't predators. True predators kill to eat, but the Reapers only kill. They wiped out over 95% of humanity and consumed none of it. That means something else is fueling them, something sinister and unknown. As Will sits alone later that night, he reflects on the past. He remembers arguing with Tara, pleading with her not to join Nina on the mission to Boulder. He had believed Nina was chasing fame, trying to become the first to kill a Reaper. But Tara had wanted to save the world, and that had cost her life. Back in the present, the group finally reaches the entrance to Columbia Mines, located at an eerie 892 feet above sea level. Will informs them that they'll need to descend to level 8 using the stairwells. From there, they can cross to the other side of the mountains, reaching an altitude of 8,023 feet, just enough to survive. From there, it's another 19 kilometers to the outskirts of Boulder. Nina, concerned, asks if Will is absolutely certain the mine tunnels never dip below 8,000 feet, because even a short drop could mean death. The mine tunnels weren't straight, nor built on a consistent elevation. That's why Nina feared they might unknowingly dip below the 8,000 feet safety threshold. Will insists he has a route mapped out, but Nina's concern proves valid. She warns that since the Reapers came from underground, they could be lurking in any lower zones, especially the underlines, where they'd be easy prey. Reapers can see in the dark. Worse, they can track humans by the carbon dioxide they exhale. The chance of being hunted was almost certain, but there was no other way. Gritting their teeth, they descend. Inside the tunnel, they find their path blocked. Will decides they must reroute through level 7, which lies 914 meters below. Nina protests, saying it's suicide, but Will decides to send the others back and go on alone. Moved by his determination, both Nina and Katie refuse to leave. Together, the three descend deeper into the mine using a rusted staircase. As soon as they reach the bottom, they feel it. Something is watching. Reapers have sensed them. They switch off their torches instantly and are engulfed in darkness. A low, guttural growl echoes through the tunnel. They rush to hide in a narrow shaft, holding their breath, literally, to avoid releasing any CO2. But the Reaper begins scanning the tunnel with its tail, sensing even the faintest breath. Just then, Katie spots a glimmer of light from another shaft. Thinking fast, they use a flare to release thick smoke, confusing the creature. They escape, but not without loss. A second Reaper grabs Katie and vanishes into the dark. Shocked and broken, Will and Nina flee and spend the night in an abandoned, half-collapsed shelter. Over a quiet dinner, Nina reveals something critical. There's a special chemical in her lab, a cubic form of magnesium oxide. It's the key. Reapers are electrically charged and have a defensive mechanism embedded in their skin. But if a bullet is coated with that chemical, the reaction would generate over 1,000,000 watts of uncontrollable internal combustion. It would kill them instantly. Will isn't convinced. But the next morning, they finally reach the Boulder Hospital. On the 5th floor, Will finds the filters they desperately need, but a Reaper ambushes them. Thinking fast, they ignite an oxygen tank, creating a powerful explosion to drive it back. They make it to Nina's lab just in time, and she begins preparing the chemical compound. While Nina works, Will discovers a photo of her family. She confesses her parents were also scientists, researching a powerful discovery before Reapers killed them. As for Tara, she came willingly. Nina never forced her. She was trying to save the world, but Nina's first experiment fails. Even after attacking the Reaper's shield, there's no effect. Realizing time is running out, she urges Will to leave and find Hunter, his son, while she keeps working. Will sets out, but his car breaks down along the way. Back in the lab, a Reaper breaks in. With no other option, Nina coats a bullet with cobalt and fires. Boom! The creature explodes into flames. It works. Meanwhile, Reapers corner Will. They're seconds away from killing him, when suddenly, a Reaper in the distance explodes. It's Nina. She's here. She loads cobalt rounds into her gun and takes out the remaining Reapers one by one. They discover the horrifying truth. These creatures weren't animals. They were machines, built to exterminate humanity. But who sent them? That answer remains a mystery. Now armed with knowledge and weapons that work, the survivors set out to hunt the Reapers and end this nightmare once and for all.